Hey everyone, it's Wowus. We're here today with a truck and talk. For those of you that are new to the channel, this is when we jump into American Truck Simulator, work on a job, and talk about something that's maybe not game related or more my weekly kind of conversations on YouTube. So hopefully you enjoy. We're going to be delivering this boat here. We're in Port Angeles up in Washington. We're going to go over, probably take 90 here it looks like, to Spokane on the other side of Washington. So looking forward to that. And yeah, welcome to my channel if you're new to my channel. Typically I do strategy and that sort of stuff, but I like to also make some videos like this that are a little bit more casual, conversational, and this is a video that is the first I've done in a little while, and I'm going to talk about that. Ooh, geez, you don't want to hit the boat like that. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. And for this conversation, I've decided for these videos, I'm going to start putting an agenda, and the agenda will be down below in the description. So if you're looking for what we'll be talking about and sort of what order we'll be talking about, it'll be down in the comments below, down in the description. And if you enjoy this type of content, definitely like it. Definitely consider subscribing to my channel if you're new here. American Truck Simulator is one of the games I play. Helps if I can get the boat out of here. Just the edge right there, looks like. Yeah, definitely consider subscribing to my channel if you like American Truck Simulator, like to see me do more of it. It's definitely a game I enjoy playing, but definitely doesn't get the most views of the stuff on my channel. But I'm going to continue to put it up because I play it a lot and I like it. It's a very casual game, I feel like. So let's talk about, kind of to quickly go over what we'll be chatting about today. We're going to talk a little bit about my content and why I haven't been posting and some updates and life and all that. We're going to talk a little bit about games. And kind of where I'm at with the games that you typically see on my channel, what I've been playing, all of that. And then we're going to talk just briefly about today are the Oscars, so just want to give a few thoughts about some of the movies that I saw last year, and some things that hopefully you all will enjoy in terms of that. So to get us started, let's talk about, this is the first video that I put up probably in just over a month, and I wanted to give you all my viewers just a little bit of insight as to why that is. And I want to first off thank my new subscribers. I actually picked up quite a few subscribers in the month of January, even though I didn't put out any content. So thank you to those of you that have joined our channel, and for those of you that are subscribers and enjoy the content, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. So first, I had some issues right around Christmas time, the end of December, with my internet, particularly my Ethernet connection, and it was causing me to have to use a wireless adapter on my desktop, and that was creating like a lot of lag spikes, things like that. I've since got that resolved, but it was making it nearly impossible for me to put out quality content during that time, between the slow upload speeds for videos and also for online games. I was getting a lot of lag. It was causing me to die a lot in games like Here's the Storm, and so I just felt like it wasn't good content that I could put out when my connection stinks. So that was part of what happened. I got that resolved right around New Year's, and then I also myself and my family excuse me, we moved, and so now in a different location. Didn't move too far, but we ended up buying a house last year, so we moved there and moved my gaming PC and all that sort of stuff. Had to get internet and everything set up here in the new place, and so this is actually the first video I'm recording for my new place. I actually have an office here, which is nice, and hopefully I'll be able to put out some additional content here in my office that I hope to use to do some video and some shooting here. And then for me, January at my full-time work tends to be pretty busy. I didn't have a lot of free time, and the time that I had, primarily on the weekends, quite frankly, I watched football, right, and with the playoffs and all of that. That was most of what I did with my free time. But as anybody who has moved into a new home or a new to me home knows, you end up doing a lot of work. When you get there, a lot of things need to be painted and fixed, and things start dripping and all that sort of stuff right when you move in. So I've been working on a lot of those projects on the weekend. So not for a lack of wanting to game, but I just haven't gamed as much in the past month, and as a result, I haven't recorded as much. But my hope is that moving forward, right, that will be just a short-term thing that happened, and that we'll see more regular content now moving forward into the rest of the year. It's going to be my goal to try to put up at least one video a week for the rest of the year. I think that's very achievable. I just have to be more conscious. I think that in the past I've uploaded like a lot at once when I've had time. I think I'm going to try to do some more like pre-recorded stuff where I'll have content ready to go up in case I don't have a chance to record in a given week. But my hope is to try to do at the least one of these maybe every other week, or I'd love to do this every week, but I feel like it's only something I'm going to do if people watch. So be on the lookout for this type of content. And then, as always, I think what draws most people to my channel is my Heroes of the Storm content gets a lot of views. My Hearthstone, to some extent, gets views, but it's very time sensitive, where my Heroes stuff gets a lot of views all the time. And then, some other games here and there as I play them. So yeah, that's a little bit of where I am. And again, I want to thank you all for bearing with me. I didn't really lose any subscribers during that time that I wasn't uploading. So I very much appreciate folks not dropping me just because I wasn't throwing up content every single day. And that's life. I feel the same of the people I watch on YouTube. I don't expect people to throw a video every single day or every single week even. I hope the content that they put up is good when they put it up. In terms of kind of the state of the games that I'm playing, let's chat about what I've been playing, what I'm investing, what time I do have gaming on. And yeah, so first and foremost, Heroes of the Storm is probably still my most played game. I've been playing it a lot. Not much has changed. There was a balance patch in January, but other than that, not really any drastic changes. The same event is going on that was going on at the end of last year. It's going on for another 2 months, I think. I don't expect them to put out a lot of new content, but I've been playing a lot. My next video, I think, is going to be Murky, because I've been playing Murky an awful lot. Today, I should get to level 15 with Murky. Murky's a hero I didn't play a lot early on, but I've gotten more and more used to. And my style of play with heroes is I tend to play the same heroes. Like I'll play the same hero for like 2 months straight, and just get really good at them, usually master them. And I've mastered almost at 30, whatever like a full page of them is when you go to your roster. I've got like 30-ish characters mastered at this point. So Murky will be my next. Murky and Lucio are my two that are the closest. I don't enjoy playing Lucio as much, but I'm very close to level 15 with Lucio. I think Ariel is better right now in terms of a healer, but I'm not as good with her. I think it's a her. So yeah, I don't know that I'll throw out a video until I feel like I shouldn't put out a strategy video until I'm good with a character. And so that's why you haven't seen much, is because the only characters really I'm playing are Lucio, and I am playing Deathwing, of course, but I've already put out a strategy video on Deathwing. I'm very close to 15 with him as well. So that's Heroes. Hearthstone, I'm playing just enough each day to typically do the daily quests. I did get to my highest rank ever last month, and it wasn't a matter of me playing a lot, but the deck that I'm playing, which I'm playing a Quest Paladin right now, so it's sort of like a Quest Paladin with a lot of mechs. I'm really enjoying. It seems to counter the very popular decks right now. It's very anti-aggro, so I'm enjoying playing it, right? And I'm going way too fast. I need to slow down here a little bit. But I don't enjoy it an awful lot. I don't look forward to playing Hearthstone anymore. And I know I put out some of my most popular videos are Hearthstone videos, primarily when I was throwing up deck reviews on Hearthstone. And for a lot of different reasons, I moved away from that. I found that I was getting a lot of criticism because I'm not a level, and by my own admission, I'm not like a legendary Hearthstone player, right? I'm not at the legendary rank. I'm usually somewhere around 15. But level 15 people need to watch people do, right? Level 50, that was my whole philosophy. I also need to take a nap, it looks like. So let's see where we can cut off. Maybe I feel like at this wait station would be a good place to do that. So yeah, for me, Hearthstone is a game that I continue to play, but I haven't recorded because if I'm not enjoying playing something, I don't think people want to watch me play a game that I hate. And I know I've watched a lot of YouTubers who stick with the same game because it's what makes their channel popular, even though people don't enjoy it. And for me, I don't know that I ever want to play a game because I feel obligated to play it. I want to show you all the games that I play because I enjoy playing them. That's sort of my, philosophy of YouTube. And yeah, okay, that may mean that some people don't subscribe. If you subscribe to my channel looking for Hearthstone and you're upset that I don't play Hearthstone, so be it. You can unsubscribe if you're really unhappy. But I hope that I can provide you enough content in other games that you would enjoy. And I feel like I've made my position pretty clear on Hearthstone in my last couple of videos about it. I explained I was not enjoying it. I'm not going to spend the money on it. I'm not going to sink the money into the pre-orders and stuff anymore. So that's Hearthstone. In terms of, I usually do some retro gaming. And so for me, the game right now I'm playing a lot but have not been recording is X-Wing Alliance. It's a game that I've beaten before when it came out in 99, I believe. It was, or 2000. It was right, and that must have been 99. It was right before the Phantom Menace. And I really enjoy it. It's a very tiresome game to beat, and by that I mean it really has a way of playing it that you go through a mission and you may lose that mission 15 or 20 minutes in. There's no save points and you got to start over. That's really where the difficulty of the game comes in, is basically they want you to make a single mistake near the end, and it's difficult. If you wait too long on some of the missions, Star Destroyers will show up and then all of a sudden you've got way too many enemies to actually win the game, things like that. So it's a fun game to me. I really love Star Wars. I love the X-Wing and TIE Fighter universe. TIE Fighter is one of my all-time favorite games. X-Wing Alliance is right up there with it. And so I'm just replaying it more for nostalgia's sake. But I do enjoy it, but I don't know that it would be particularly fun to watch. It's a lot of trial and error and failing, which is fine and all, but just not the perfect game to stream or to record. And then for me, I also play Xbox. I don't record Xbox. I don't have a means to easily stream or record Xbox One, but I do play Xbox One. I primarily have been playing on it. Well, I have Game Pass, so I've been playing a handful of games with Game Pass that have been good. Slay the Spire, I play an awful lot, and I have that both on PC Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass. I play, and I play that game an awful lot. I also been playing Madden quite a bit. I enjoy Madden in sort of short bursts. It was a game I got right around Christmas time, and have just been playing that as kind of my main Xbox games. but I don't record those necessarily. And then I play American Truck Simulator, and I think I mentioned in videos before, American Truck Simulator to me is a very casual game. It's a game that I kind of go to when I want to de-stress, or when I want to do something maybe a little different than Here's the Storm or a more competitive game. It's just something to kind of chill out and play. And in this case, I like it. It's my favorite game to probably sit here and record, because I can sit and talk and be able to play the game sort of mindlessly. It's sort of like driving, right? So I still do play this. I have not yet bought the Utah map expansion, but my thought would be that I usually pick up their map expansions to the American Truck Simulator game when they... It's going to hit me. When they drop in price during a sale to about 25%. So I like to buy the maps when they get under like that sort of $10 threshold. And the last sale, it was like 10% off, which is like $11 or something around that United States currency. But yeah, for me, I'm going to wait a little bit. I am excited about Idaho, and just to pull up the map really quick. The reason I'm excited about Idaho is that we should get kind of a combination here of some highways that should let us get from up here to down here without having to go through here or here, both of which are very, very slow. So I'm hoping that it improves efficiency, if you will, in terms of moving from the northwest to the southwest part of the map with Idaho. So we'll see. We need to see what the map looks like and all that. I don't believe they've released any of that as of yet, which is fine. You know, it is what it is. We're still a few... I don't know if they've given an actual release date for Idaho, and Utah did just come out like October, November, that time frame. So we're still a little bit of ways away from Idaho, but I do like the pace that the expansions are coming out in. So, you know, props to SCS. I think they're the folks that make American Truck Simulator. Again, just like this game has held my attention. Any game that you played on Steam for over 100 hours, I think you got to give a lot of credit to the developers for just making a very enjoyable game, and something that, you know, I first saw it, I said, why would I want to play this? And then I started playing it and said, oh, I see why everybody plays this. It's a lot of fun. Let's talk a little bit about some media stuff. So let's talk about movies, and then maybe if we still have time, depending on how close we are to our delivery destination. We'll get close if we're going 70 miles an hour. We're going a little fast up here. Let's talk about some movies of the year, things like that, with the Academy Awards being tonight, the Oscars. I want to jump right out and say Best Picture. I have not seen every one of the Best Picture films, but I've seen some of them, and I've seen some of the Golden Globe films that weren't nominated, so like Rocketman and things like that. I think the best film of the year was Parasite. Hands down, bar none. It is, in my opinion, not only the best movie of the year, it's the best movie of the decade. I went through my whole list of movies, took a look and said, you know, which movie is really the best movie of the past 10 years, and I landed on Parasite. I've seen Parasite twice in theaters, and I'll definitely buy it when I think it just came out on Blu-ray, but I'll buy that at some point this year. It is by far one of the most masterful films that I've ever seen. It's a top 10, I think, all-time film for me, having watched it only twice. And there are very few movies nowadays, I feel like. You know, I think when I first started watching a lot of film, like in high school and college, I think I was more impacted by those films. My favorite films I've seen are films I saw primarily in high school, sort of the Pulp Fictions and Memento and Shawshank and those sorts of films. But for me, this is the first movie in a long time that I left saying this is just an amazing film. It hits all the right notes. The acting is superb. I was talking to someone about the film, and they said, "Oh, it's a South Korean film. It's not in English, other than a few brief parts where they're speaking English because he's an English tutor. But it's in general in South Korean." And they said, "Isn't that if you're not somebody that watches foreign film, a lot of times people say, oh, I have to read all the subtitles." And yes, you do have to read the subtitles for this film, but their acting is so good that you almost know what's going on without understanding, just by the inflection of their voice and the way that they're acting. Like, their acting almost replaces your need to read what's being discussed in some parts. And I think once you've seen it once, when you see it, I saw it a second time in theaters, and it was even better because I knew, I didn't have to read I knew what they were saying, so I could observe even more of the acting. It was just brilliant. The messages that it speaks to, I think great films always speak to something in society and are like a definitive film about something. And it is, I would say, the definitive film about class differences. And I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's about, a poor family and dealing with a rich family. And so there are a lot of insightful, when a writer and a director gives you something that's insightful, where you leave the theater saying, I hadn't thought of it that way, but that is how things are. I think it's really something special when a film tells you something that you deep down knew but really had never put your finger on. And I think that's what Parasite does. I don't think it's gonna win Best Picture tonight, but I think it should. And I think in the annals of history, there have been a lot of films, and Shawshank is a great example of films that have not won Best Picture that clearly should have. And I do believe that, a decade from now, Parasite will be the film that people will say, how did this film not win Best Picture? It's one of the greatest films of all time. And I do very firmly believe that. I think there are many other good choices. My second favorite, the sort of runner-up for me, is Marriage Story. I think Marriage Story was incredibly complex, in some ways depressing, but also extremely insightful. I think it's similarly like the definitive film about divorce, and about love in a divorce. And it's a film that I think will stick with me and stick with the other folks who have seen it for a long time, which I think is what I want from the film. It's something that the performances are second to none. Adam Driver, in my opinion, should win Best Actor. I think Brad Pitt will win, but I think he had the best performance. The fight scene, which if you've seen the film, you'll know, and if you don't, you'll find out when you watch it, is perhaps Driver's best performance ever. And he has had a lot of good performances this year. He was the star, really, of Star Wars, and his whole the last third of the film, he was brilliant in, and that was, I think, the high point of the film for many folks. But I don't think he will win. I think Brad Pitt will win, and I don't think it's undeserved, but I just prefer Driver's performance personally, and I think it's the whole Best Actor category is great. The Best Actress, I haven't seen a couple, I haven't seen Little Women yet, which I know a lot of folks speak very positively of, and so I'm not sure about Best Actress. I haven't seen Judy yet either. And I've heard that she's fantastic. Renee Zellweger is fantastic in that. So I don't want to speak to the Best Actress category, only because I feel like if I haven't seen most of the films, it's not fair to speak to it. But I think Best Director, again, I would go with Parasite. I think they will go with Quentin. And it is what it is. But I do think Parasite was something special. Every shot was perfect, both from a cinematography standpoint and the choice of each shot. It should be in that discussion of best director, no doubt about it. So yeah, I for me, Parasite's up there. I do want to shout out to Laura Dern. I think she speaks volumes in Marriage Story as well. She's almost universally won every best supporting actress out there so far, and she deserves it. She was fantastic in that movie as well. Scarlett Johansson, I will say, I don't think was as good as Laura Dern or Adam Driver. She was good enough. She was a good kind of low-key actress in this film to bounce off of, for Adam Driver to sort of bounce off of. And I think she gave a good performance. I just don't think it's an award-winning. It's not a performance that I will talk about. I would talk about Adam Driver's performance to anyone. And I think, again, they played off each other very well in a couple of tense scenes. But I do think Laura Dern was incredible, and Driver, again, was incredible. So Marriage Story is my number 2 film. I think it had some great Best Actor and Actress folks in it. Alan Alda was also great in it, although I don't believe he's up for supporting actor. But yeah, I hope to hear what you think, whether it's before or after the Oscars, because I know this will come out just before the Oscars. I'm wrong, but I'm happy to hear your thoughts. And then I just want to talk briefly about a TV show that means a lot to me, and I'm sure to many other folks who are listening, and that's Star Trek Picard. I am a massive Star Trek The Next Generation fan, and I have been since I was a child. It was the first show I ever watched. Just a little bit of a detour here. That's great. Feel free to pass me. I'm turning it off. It was a show that I watched extensively as a child, that I continued to watch. There was a period of time in the early 2000s, right, where The Next Generation was not easily watchable. Before streaming services and all that, Star Trek, when it went off the air in '94, or Next Generation did, and they moved to Voyager, D69, later Enterprise. The Next Generation was only on when there was like a special, as odd as that seems. I remember watching it like one year on New Year's Day, and they were replaying the best episodes throughout the day. And I remember it was actually it was 2000. I remember coming home and watching Best of Both Worlds and Yesterday's Enterprise before I went to bed, because they had them on kind of back to back. And it was very difficult though to watch that. I ended up buying DVDs. DVDs were extremely expensive when those first seasons of TNG came out. I want to say they were $120 a season. It was wild. And I only bought season 3 on DVD, because season 3 to me is probably the best. 3 to 5 are like fantastic. Even 6 is very good, but 3 to 5 are like perfect seasons of a show. And I remember I bought that one, and I was like, I'm never buying this again. Like, I can't afford to keep buying these. And eventually, I did buy the entire run. I remember there was a site called Deep Discount DVD that had a 20% off sale like once a year, but then they also had they had stuff on sale, and then there was a coupon. I ended up getting the whole run for like $70, and it was worth it to me to buy that whole series run. And now it's on Netflix, CBS, and all those other things. So Next Generation, just a huge influence to me. Is a show that I still would sit there and watch, and especially a lot of people will say, oh, I'll watch The Office when I'm just looking for something to fall asleep to, or to watch as sort of comfort food watching. For me, it was Star Trek The Next Generation. And so Star Trek Picard has come out 3 episodes in at this point. Some spoiler talk here if you haven't seen it. I think it's good. I like the pacing of it. It's very slow, intentionally slow, which I think is a good thing for Picard. But it's kind of decelerated, if that makes sense. I think the first episode was fantastic. The second episode was okay. And the third episode was mediocre at best. It was not a very good episode of TV, but it had a few great moments. And I just feel like the first season it's gonna like kind of trot along here at this like snail's pace, where Discovery, for example, is like lightning fast. And I know people have their criticisms. I like Discovery, and I'm almost finished with the second season of it. I'm kind of plowing through that at the same time now that I have CBS All Access, and I think I like that there's more and more Star Trek out there, but Picard is good. I think Patrick Stewart is phenomenal in the role. The work that he's done, the reaction shots are fantastic, of him like listening to people and all those sorts of things. And there was a moment at the end of the third episode that to me was such a callback to The Next Generation. I think anybody that's seen the episodes knows what I'm speaking of, but the last essentially 60 seconds of the episode was something that was like truly touching, and something that I said to my family that we were watching with, I've waited, how many years has it been? 20-ish years. I mean, the show went off the air in 93 or 94, and it's now 2020, so almost 30 years. So it's like 25 years later about. I've waited like 25 years for this moment to happen, and while it's not the same, it definitely was that nostalgia hit that I felt, unlike almost anything else. I think the two biggest for me nostalgia moments, right, of this past decade, in terms of moments where I actually felt like, oh my gosh. Well, there's three, I would say. The first is when the Force Awakens trailer came out, the moment that the Millennium Falcon appeared on screen, I almost fell out of my chair with the music blaring. And that initial teaser, I couldn't, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. That was one. The second has to be Avengers Endgame, right? The whole portals, Thor's hammer, take your pick. That whole sequence was what I had been looking forward to as a comic book fan forever. And then I think the last is this moment. It just was touching, and they do these little, in the show and in Discovery too, they do these little like nods to the previous series in terms of musical cues, and then also sound effects for the same matter. Discovery uses like TNG sound effects all the time, but they always use sort of like the 4 notes at the start of the Star Trek theme. The fact that, and again, this is kind of spoilerish if you haven't seen it, you probably want to skip this. The fact that they went forward and talked and continued that musical theme that's so beloved. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect to hear that theme in the show. And I actually, the more I think about it, it's kind of like off-putting. Like they have these like rinky-dink little ship that they're on. I wish they had saved it. Like, I have to assume at some point in the Picard run, which is supposed to be 3 seasons, that the Enterprise will arrive, and I would want nothing more than for them to play the theme, the Next Generation theme, when the Enterprise arrives. I think that's the only way it could have been more powerful, right, is to save that theme for that moment. But just an incredible rendition of the Next Generation theme. Again, I knew the little 4-note thing was coming, but then when it continued, it was something, as the ship goes into warp, was something truly special. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Hopefully you enjoyed this content. Again, I'm going to look to put these videos out from time to time to kind of chat about things that are on my mind that aren't maybe gaming related. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a comment or a like or something like that down in the description below. We're going to just skip this, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. I very much appreciate it. Thanks.